In this video, we are going to discuss Gramsci's idea of intellectuals and the two types of intellectuals, that is, traditional intellectuals and organic intellectuals. So, coming to Gramsci's idea of intellectuals, the Italian Marxist Antonio Gramsci had brought significant contribution to the Marxist idea of the role of intellectuals. Like Marx and Engels, he also argued for the democratic conception of intellectual activity. Taking philosophy an example, he argued that all men are philosophers as everyone has a specific conception of the world, a worldview which they have forged out of their experiences and circumstances. Gramsci argued that philosophy needed to develop critical awareness by not accepting ideas and value systems which passively from the dominant institutions in society and overcoming its fragmented and disparate character and developing itself as a systematic and coherent worldview in the way traditional philosophers have had the time to do with their own more rarefield systems. The ideal of developing a popular form of critical philosophy would have to overcome and address a number of problems concerning the actual historical development of intellectual production and its relationship to powerful socio-economic groups. So it would have to overcome firstly the fact that all men are intellectuals, but not all men have in society the function of intellectuals. This is the division between intellectuals and manual labor. The notion of intellectuals is a distinct social category and believing that it is independent of class. So, not every intellectual has social functions, and within the function of intellectuals, there are different types of intellectuals. So, here Gramsci identified two types of intellectuals, and one is traditional intellectuals, and the other is organic intellectuals. In the case of traditional intellectuals, before capitalism, we know we had monarchs, churches, aristocrats, and the state. Here, traditional intellectuals won't question the monarch or the aristocrat or the state. They are in favor of the religious construction or the system produced by the monarch. They are constructed spontaneously, and this group is also known as professional intellectuals, as they includes philosophers, professors, teachers, journalists, religious leaders, etc. They use the refined language of high culture which is acquired through education and they share a common heritage. They tend to be seen as detached from society, but they are connected to economic and political life. They are perceived as independent social groups, but actually they are not. They are too influenced by history, current economic and political life. They are absorbed into new social groups through the activity of organic intellectuals. The historical definition of traditional intellectuals refers to the way intellectuals associated with one mode of production need to be assimilated by the intellectuals associated with a rising class and a new mode of production. For example, the intellectuals of the feudal mode of production, like scholars, artists, had to be integrated and refunctioned according to the new practices and needs of the capitalist mode of production. So their position is always in the interclass or above it. Gramsci defines traditional intellectuals as those within the capitalist mode of production that remain removed from economic and political space of capitalist class. And he says there is a gap between this traditional intellectuals and the working class because these are the groups which is dominant at any time in society. So they always received privileges, knowledge production, and intellectual development without any distinction. In the case of organic intellectuals, after capitalism, with the coming of the industries in the 19th century, that is, after French Revolution, the people started questioning the monarch or the church. With Darwin's theory of evolution, people began to change their mind. They started questioning. So, organic intellectuals are the group which is against the corruption, which used to question the ruling system. And for Gramsci, they are the members of each social group. They form different social groups, and each social groups comes to the forefront in history. For example, we can take YouTubers as a social group. They are also from the public, they are also organic social group, and they are also keep emerging from the society. So these organic intellectuals create the thought which rationalize, giving interest of their own social group and its dominance. This formation of social group is interconnected with the formation of intellectuals itself. So here we can see that the formation of new social group in organic intellectuals impacted the society. They penetrates the stratum of traditional intellectuals and it keeps on emerging from the public. Gramsci, during Industrial Revolution, knew organic intellectuals, its process and formation of knowledge from workers. So they are from the root stratum of the society, that is the working class. Gramsci says the function of organic intellectuals is not to see the class differences but bring out a form of knowledge where we see all fractions of classes get united. And he says the main role of organic intellectuals is to produce a consent of the intra-class interest and dominant class. So it's clear that organic intellectuals, their aim is about touching or connecting the root so that knowledge production not only limited to the elite class but also extended to the people who are not in the mainstream, that is the working class. So, Gramsci, through organic intellectuals, aims that there should be an organic production in capitalist society where the industry, financial, and commercial sectors are united together to establish an interrelated cohesions and move beyond the capitalist interest. So, then we have equal knowledge production, equal distribution of intellectual capacities. So, everyone, not only from the elite class or the top of the society, but also the people who are not in the mainstream, who are in the downstream, that is, the working class peasants, will also receive the equal rights. Moreover, the opportunity for having education and receiving knowledge distribution.